Today, we've got a crazy story about an entitled mother who's been stealing money from family members. We'll get into that in a bit, but first, my dad thinks I spend more time with my husband's family than my own, but the truth is the opposite. Do I really not visit my family enough? I'm so freaking exhausted with their demands. I confirmed plans with my dad for my husband and I to come over today, and he responded with, "Well, I'm gonna tell ya, I feel like you guys are always putting his needs or his family before your needs and your family. That's not fair." What? Are you kidding me right now? I'm a grown butt adult who still freaking answers to her family's every beck and call like a child. Y'all need money? I give you money. Need a driver? I'm your driver. Need me to babysit? I'll babysit. House sit when my mom and stepdad are away on business trips? Yep, I have to do that a lot. Want me to come to an event? Give me time and date? I'm there. All of that for free because duh, they're family. While also having to juggle married life, a full-time job, weekly appointments because on top of all this, I have multiple disabilities and I'm barely able to even work full-time to begin with, and daily responsibilities. Not to mention, I come over just to visit multiple times a month. That's not even including the times they need me. I do everything I can for my family at the cost of my mental health and energy, but apparently that's not enough. Nothing I do is ever enough. I'm so tired. My husband, on the other hand, maybe gets to see someone from his family once every 3 months, 4 months, and so on. It's actually not fair to him at this point. My dad is completely deluded because the situation is the other way around. My husband and I have not seen his mother since Thanksgiving, but we visited my dad twice this week alone and about to do it again today. Not to mention once the week before, and before that, etc. This is the text I sent back. I don't see how my cousin just spent half a week with me. I was at Nana's for Christmas and I went to see Nini and Papa too. We visit you several times a month. I go to all my siblings' events. When they say they need me there, I'm there. He never gets to do this. He's not even been able to go to a single one of his brother's basketball games. He has had to drop plans with his family because someone from my family demanded we be there, and it's not fair to him. I've never dropped plans with mine for his. He sees his family once every few months. In fact, next weekend, he's literally about to go to see his grandmother for the first time in 4 years, and I'm getting to meet her. He's met all of my family, and I'm always getting to see y'all with or without him there. I've only met his parents, one set of grandparents and siblings, and we are married, and yet I still have yet to meet so many people. That's how little he gets to see his family. It's been over a year since him or his siblings have even seen their dad. In fact, no one can even get a hold of him. We went to his mom's for Thanksgiving and yesterday for a late Christmas. Before Thanksgiving, it had been a few months since we had visited her. We're going to your house for your Christmas tonight. We saw you at Nana's for Christmas at her place, and I visited you a few days before that too. Not to mention, I see Mom and my siblings multiple times a month. His response was, "Well, maybe it's just me. I feel like y'all do that too, because you definitely do not come to visit me several times a month, and I invite y'all almost every single week. I'm 10 minutes away, and it's maybe once a month that you come by, and sometimes not even that. And y'all have never ever, not one time, invited me and my brother to come visit and spend time with y'all at your place." Okay, first, I visit him every Saturday, and if I can't on Saturday, then I go on Sunday evening. Second, he invites us to church, not to come over and hang out. We're of a different religion. I'm not going to his church or any church. I'm extremely uncomfortable with it and have told him over and over again the answer will always be no, and yet he still asks every Sunday. Sorry, but not only do we believe in something different, but we're the exact type of people your denomination loudly and proudly proclaims to hate. Third, he lives 30 minutes away, not 10. Don't know where he pulled that number from. Fourth, we don't invite my side of the family over, besides my cousins, because they're judgmental as heck and have tried to rudely just show up at our door without calling. When we were moving, they made rude remarks about our roommate. Yes, married with a roommate, common in our area, crap is expensive. Our dog, decorations, our lifestyle, our beliefs, how I don't do a good enough job cleaning the floors. Because we have a high-shedding dog, our floors are never going to be completely void of dog hair, but I promise I spend a lot of time cleaning, etc. Just said rude and judgmental things in general. He said over and over again how he doesn't like how much our Husky/German Shepherd mix sheds, and how he would get dog hair all over him, plus my brother's terrified of dogs, so why is he even bringing this up as a point? He doesn't even want to come over himself. I'm just so freaking exhausted. It feels like everyone wants to push and pull me around and demand time with them. I do enough, don't I? I personally don't know people my age, 22, that spend as much time with their family as I do. I know some people who haven't spoken to their parents since they moved out. I have a friend that's seen hers 3 times this entire year. In my opinion, he should feel blessed he gets to spend any time with me at all. I'm trying to have my own life and balance all this other crap at once. Give me some space, goddang it. Edit. Update. My dad out of nowhere attacked and beat the crap out of my husband tonight, right in front of me and my mom, and stepdad said, good, he deserved it, when they found out. I'm going no contact with both of my parents plus stepdad, and we're pressing charges. No_stage_6158 responded, maybe you should start adulting and stop letting your family make all these demands that you think you have to fulfill. People take advantage only when you let them. Snails replied, this, but also for your own brain. Make a pie chart or some other kind of graph that you can look at about the time and money spent on both families by you, that you can refer to for your own sanity whenever someone tries to gaslight you about it. Also, hi, my name is Brendan, and if you guys enjoy these Entitled Parents videos, it'd be awesome if you left a like or left a comment if you're listening to our podcast. That said, our next story is, Mother has been stealing money from family members. Hi everyone, I've just found out my mother has been stealing money, Christmas/birthday gifts normally, from my children and my siblings' children. Her own dang grandchildren. It has all come to light on Christmas Day when we celebrated at my sister's home. After leaving, she messaged a family group chat to ask if anyone had seen the envelopes that she has hidden in her room. These envelopes had cash gifts inside that were given by various family members to my nieces, ages 8 and 13. Upon returning home, I checked through my own kids' gifts in case someone picked it up by accident and all the excitement and mess. Turns out there's money missing from my daughter's own envelope as well, which has been stored in my purse during all the fun for safekeeping. I mentioned to my sister I was also missing money given to my daughter as a present. She said she would let me know if anyone says anything. Turns out our mother confessed to her the next day saying she stole the money. In total, close to $300 had been stolen from her 3 granddaughters. She was confronted and she gave the excuse that she needed the money for medical reasons. Mind you, we live in a country with free healthcare, so that was a poor excuse. Then she said that she spent her best years raising us as children, and now she has nothing to show for it since we all moved away? I don't even understand that excuse. She still tried to speak to us as if she's done nothing wrong and she never returned the money despite the requests. I'm one of 7 children aged 40 to 25 now. All of us are grown with jobs, our own homes, and partners. My father is still living and working still to provide for her as she's never worked a day in her life. She could have asked any of us adults for help if she needed it, but she felt entitled to the Christmas gifts given to her own grandchildren. I'm just disgusted and disappointed, Reddit. I didn't think I'd ever have a situation where I'd have something to post. Thanks for letting me rant. I hope everyone has a safe and happy holidays. GoodDog_GoodBook123 responded, wow, nothing to show for raising the 7 kids she chose to have, except, 7 children and multiple grandchildren. Tell grandma to shove her stolen money where the sun don't shine. Asteria Angel replied, nothing to show except for 7 good kids who would make anything happen if she asked, and many grandchildren who all adore her and will be so upset if they learn that their Nana did this. Our next story is, father pressured brother into signing for loans for him. Not sure if this would be the right subreddit for advice regarding this, but hope it works. I have a brother who's younger than me, not living with me, who recently just told me that our dad has had him sign for a loan in his own name. He's old enough that he has his own ID, by guilt-tripping him and making him feel pressured into doing so, and it resulted in him feeling stressed out because of it. Though I confronted him about it, he doubles down by saying that the loans would be paid back, but I doubt it, considering his lack of income and overall just being a pain about it, while not even considering how my brother would feel about it. He's even gone as far as trying to ask my brother for his old phone, so he could sell his current one and use it, but I'm not even sure if that would be true. So that's probably it. I'm just wondering what else I could do aside from supporting my brother and confronting our dad again, because he's just so frustrating. Any advice from anyone who's gone through this or currently going through it? 7 That's a Nope responded, how old is your brother? Old enough to have an ID isn't specific enough. If in the US, is he 18 or older or younger than 18? If he's younger than 18, he isn't legally old enough to sign for a loan and the loan is fraudulent. If he's 18 or older, then he's legally old enough, and since he did actually sign it, it's going to be harder to undo it, if possible at all. You could take him to go talk to a lawyer to see if there might be a case of coercion since he signed under duress, but a guilt trip very well may not be sufficient for that. You can help him make this more difficult to do in the future by helping him to lock his credit with all 3 credit bureaus so no more loans can be taken out. Also, have him check his full credit report to see if there's anything else that he didn't sign up for. If there is, he can file a police report for identity theft. That won't work for anything he actually signed for as a legal adult, but it will if there's anything he did not sign up for that was done while he was a minor, under 18. Do you know what happened to the money that was gotten with this loan? Does your dad still have any or all of it? Was it used to buy something? Was it an unsecured cash loan or a secured loan attached to something? Example, house, car, or other asset. Specific that was paid directly by the loan or via escrow? If it was a secured loan, is your brother's name also on the deed or title for the thing that was purchased, or only your dad's name? Our next story is, my 15-year-old sister is a thief and my parents do nothing. This has been happening for years. At first, I thought I was losing my stuff, but one day I found some books I thought were gone in her room. That's when I realized my younger sister is the one taking my things without permission. In that incident with the books, I confronted her, told her they were mine, and demanded she return them. She refused, we struggled, and she ended up hitting me and making my lip bleed. And guess who my parents blamed? Me, for not sharing. How am I supposed to share something if I was never even asked for it and she just took it? This happens every time I catch her taking something of mine. I'm always the one at fault for not knowing how to share. This makes me feel completely unprotected in my own home. Not only do they fail to respect my belongings, but it also seems like my parents justify her behavior. Last time I realized she had stolen something from me, my markers, I didn't say anything to anyone, just took them back, bought a combination lock for my backpack, and now I keep all my valuable belongings secured. I mean, if my parents won't do anything about their daughter being a thief, then I have to protect my stuff from her myself. I'm so tired of this situation, and my parents don't seem to realize how serious this problem is. How can I make them understand that my sister needs to face consequences for her actions? This isn't just about me. If they keep enabling this behavior, eventually I won't be the only one affected. Sooner or later, it could impact them or even people outside our family. If this is how she behaves at 15, I can't even imagine how much worse it will get when she's older. Ambient Ape responded, I suggest writing a simple list of everything you recall that she has shared unilaterally from you. Simply hand it to your parents and let them know this is the list to the best of your memory so far. Tell them you're not expecting them to comment on it, but you wanted it to be clear to them how often and how much she's taking from you. Parents can be terrible at keeping track, and so they do not connect each new event to the previous events, so it doesn't feel like a lot to them. Laying it all out and showing it to them could open their eyes to how chronic the situation is. Our next story is, how do I move forward? I, 25-year-old male, recently proposed to my fiancée, 29-year-old female, and while this should be one of the happiest moments of my life, my parents' behavior has turned it into something far more stressful and painful. We've been together for a year and a half, in a relationship for 1 year, and I'm certain she's the person I want to spend my life with. She stood by me through some incredibly tough times and has been my greatest support, especially when I felt like my own family was against me. Growing up, I never thought I had a bad relationship with my parents. My mom wasn't always like this. Her behavior changed drastically after we were evicted from our home years ago. My parents' financial mismanagement, including the sale of our family business, created a €500,000 debt hole that left my brother and me with no stability for the future. As a teenager, I had to witness our family being evicted, and since then, things have only gone downhill. My mom developed depression after the eviction, and while I empathize with the struggles she faced, she became increasingly toxic. She started making cruel remarks and relying on me to shoulder responsibilities I wasn't and still am not ready for, like taking care of my disabled older brother. Fast forward to the present. My fiance spent a month in my town, meeting my parents, my friends, and my brother. She made every effort to be respectful, accommodating, and kind. She genuinely tried to connect with them, but while they acted polite in front of her, their behavior toward me and her behind the scenes was another story. My dad was invasive, constantly questioning her background, job, and intentions. My mom made blatantly racist remarks, saying she didn't want me to marry another foreigner because of past issues I had with an ex. It was vile, but my fiancé remained patient and composed, continuing to treat them with respect. After she returned to her home country for her studies, I proposed. She said yes, and I knew I had made the right choice. When I told my parents, however, all heck broke loose. My dad outright refused to support the idea, and my mom called it impulsive and stupid. They accused me of expecting them to support us financially, which is absurd. I'd never asked them for that, despite being financially dependent on my mom for things like gas, food, and basic necessities. After multiple arguments, they reluctantly accepted my decision, and my mom even agreed to help pay for the rings. But things didn't end there. My mom later told one of her friends about the proposal, and this friend confronted me, berating me and repeating all the toxic things my mom has said about me for years, that I'm lazy, irresponsible, and incapable of taking care of myself or my brother. She even criticized my fiancé, echoing the same racist sentiments my mom had expressed. It was obvious my mom had fed her these remarks to make me feel even worse. The truth is, I've done my best to rise above the circumstances my parents created. After their divorce, my dad became mostly absent, and I was left to help support my mom and brother. I've been working since I turned 18, paid my own university fees, and sent over 100 resumes in the past week alone to find a job. Yet my mom continues to call me lazy and a disappointment, even once saying I shouldn't have been born. Despite everything, my fiancé has been unwavering in her support. She continues to treat my parents with kindness and respect, even though they've done nothing to deserve it. I'm writing this because I don't know how to move forward. How do I build a life with my fiancé while dealing with parents who seem intent on sabotaging my happiness? And how do I escape the financial dependence on my mom when jobs in my area are so hard to come by? Any advice or support would mean the world to me right now. PRD201 commented, "Okay, I'll put this bluntly. If you're not able to 100% provide for yourself, then you absolutely shouldn't be trying to get married. Also, if you've never lived on your own, you really don't know or understand who you are as a person. You've always been someone's child or brother. Now you're a boyfriend/fiance. When are you able to be you? When you live on your own, you find out how you handle things. Are you a clean freak? Do you sleep in? Do you pay bills on time? Can you manage money? How often do you wash your laundry, and are you a person who's fine living out of a basket, or do you have to put everything away right away? Sure, living with mom and dad, you might know parts of that, but honestly, more often than not, it's really just habits developed to prevent mom or dad from being angry that your clothes are on the floor. Love is grand and will help patch things over when the wife hates your dirty socks left on the floor. Love won't pay the bills on time. Love won't pay for a late-night emergency bill because of food poisoning or appendicitis. Love won't pay for 2 cars and a mortgage. Honestly, this red is you using love to escape home, but not being ready for the responsibility. Is this why you're dating an older woman? Because she's stable and you just want out so badly you'll jump on anything that's slightly better than home right now? Are you dating foreign because they don't understand your culture and it's easy to hide things because of their non-understanding? Have you two discussed what life will be like in the next year, next 5, and next 10? Honestly, you need to work on you first, then add another person once you're stable. I'm not saying you can't be in a relationship, but this needs to be a long engagement. Our next story is Christmas and Family. I'm literally this close to leave my house as soon as I find a job. My sister, 33 years old, came to visit with her boyfriend, with whom she'll get married with in July, and it's been one heck of a roller coaster since she came. First off, she had a terrible cold and she needed a root canal because apparently in England, dental care is crappy, but here in Italy, it's good. No big deal though, they're both fine now. One thing my mother told me before they came was that I needed to help out, especially to translate when my sister wasn't around, which I did. I also helped out in the house because I know how stressful Christmas preparations can be. However, things started to crumble a few days ago when my mom and my dad had a really awful argument. My mom felt ignored and made fun of, when really, she was always the only one making fun of everyone in the house, including me. So she spent the next days being mad at everyone and such. On a positive note, I could bond with my sister. We have a huge age gap. And she secretly told me that she left Italy mainly because she couldn't stand the 24-hour tension every time something happens. And now things are getting worse. We both believe that she might be on the narcissistic type because she always wants the attention drawn to herself. We think it's because of childhood trauma. She lived in an abusive household and tends to gaslight a lot, which leads to the next point. It's Boxing Day, and my BF is coming over to celebrate. I got him a little lamp that only needed to be wrapped. I wake up and my mom asks if I wrapped it. I'm confused, but then I remember. What I don't remember is where she put the paper for the present in the lamp. There she starts fussing and getting angry with me, which inevitably makes me cry out of all the distress. My father was there when it happened and tried to reason with her, saying that if it was in my drawer in the room like she said, there's no way it got lost. My mother then starts victimizing herself, saying that she has to take care of everything and that nobody cares, etc. Things start getting worse when I finally tell her that suddenly what I did to help her in those days didn't matter. In fact, all she did was making me feel crappy. She starts yelling and saying that I'm a crappy daughter and that I'm an opportunistic, ungrateful child. That made me freak out and have a mental breakdown in front of her and my sister. It's been 2 days. She doesn't talk to me, she doesn't look at me, and I'm regretting venting about it. My father told me it's okay, that I just needed to get it all out. But I swear to God, it was the worst Christmas ever. Honestly, I can't wait to leave because the more I stay in this house, the worse I feel. Our next story is, my family hates the man I love. What do I do? My partner and I have been together for 5 years now. We've broken up twice in that time, all due to my family and the way they strained our relationship and his mental health. He's been dropping hints that he's going to propose to me soon, like asking me for gemstones I like, my ring size, saying that the next big purchase he makes will be the biggest investment in his life, but I'm worth it, etc. I know for sure that he's my person and I want to be with him forever. I just don't know what to do about my family. I met my love when we were 20. Even casting my mind back to then makes me so emotional. All my life, I felt like an outcast in my own family. I felt like I had to work to get their approval on everything. When I was younger, I even lied about getting awards just so that I'd hear them say something nice to me and tell people about me in a good way, instead of the usual, X dropped the good plates, she's so clumsy, or wow, I wish X was as good at sports as your daughter, X is just useless. Ha! I'm sure you can imagine what that does to someone when they hear that every day from the time they're 4 years old till they're 25. They felt entitled to everything I earned and every choice I made. Having solid friends got me through that. However, when I met my partner, he made me feel really loved and seen. Everything that I thought was wrong with me, he adored. He loved to ask me questions about myself. He made me feel beautiful, which meant a lot since I felt like an ugly duckling compared to my friends and family. For the first time, I felt like a person, not just a role. My family were not happy when I first told them I was seeing him. There was no reason for that. They just didn't like that I was dating and that some of my time was going to him. Even though I expressed that he made me happy, they expressed me being in a relationship made them unhappy. At that time, I was incredibly fearful of them because my whole life they told me that respect and fear go hand in hand. Over time, I've gotten over this and have been learning to stand on my own 2 feet. When we broke up, instead of recognizing it was their meddling that screwed things up and messed with his mental health, they saw him as the one that hurt me and that they were right about him being a terrible person. Alas, my partner and I have worked through our obstacles and have really built that solid teammate structure between us. We've both come to the understanding that our love is forever, as cheesy as it sounds, and we want to settle down together and start a family. I want to live with him now, I want to marry him, and I want to start a life with him. I want us to come home to each other every day and relax with a wine and TV show. I want to pay bills with him, do laundry with him, and go on long and winding walks with him. To me, he's my person forever. Sorry for the cheesiness. A small bump in the road is that for financial reasons, he's just graduated and is now studying to become a doctor. He's still living with his family, and I'm still living with mine as I'm still studying too. My elderly and sick grandmother is living with us too. I'd hate to think of the strain of my choices to her. My mother is a single mom. I have 5 younger siblings, and my mom's siblings have been incredibly judgmental and cold towards me this past year regarding my relationship. I'm welcome at my partner's house with his family, but he's not welcome here with mine. It deeply upsets me that no matter how much I speak about this with them, they don't budge and would rather remind me of the times we broke up instead of recognizing their hostility was largely to blame. I don't want to hurt my family because obviously I love them, but I want to be happy with him. I don't want to be seen in the same light as my dad who abandoned us. I know they'll be really mad at me and I can live with that, but I worry this will mean I will have to cut them out of my life if they cannot be accepting. It makes me incredibly anxious because my family and I have been through so much together. I feel like my mother and her siblings feel entitled to everything in my life, especially my decisions since they raised me. I'm in my mid-20s now, yet I still feel as controlled as I was when I was 16. I feel so much guilt because I'm happy with my partner and it makes my family mad. I can't understand why that is, but when I think about my future, I see him. I choose him. I can't understand why my family can't accept that. It's the natural progression of life. I guess I want to ask what I should do about all this. How do I move past the guilt and fear? How do I set that boundary? What do I do? Jackson Love 3 responded, "You need to prioritize your life, your happiness, and your mental health over your family. Your family treats you as a possession, not as an individual adult woman. I'm not sure if there's any cultural aspect to your family dynamics here, but you are and should be allowed to make the choices that you want. I don't know if it's possible to move in with him and his family or find a way to move together sooner, but your family is never going to change. They don't care about you or your happiness, only your image and what you can do for them. At some point, you need to make a very hard decision. Your partner or your toxic family. Hugs." And with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. If you enjoyed today's video, drop a like and comment below. And if you want to check out our other videos, click the video on the right. With that being said, I'll see you all next time.